This video and the next one are just going to be some fun little tier lists that I'm going to be doing over the weekend. And this one is something I've been wanting to do for a really, really long time. It's a One Piece villains tier list. Now, the reason I'm doing this one is obviously because Kaido is really shaping up to be that guy, and I think he's going to get pretty high on this list, so wait and see. But like you can see here, it's not just the main arc villains, there's also a lot of really great villains that are just here normally, like my man Bon Clay right here, you know? So, we're gonna just get right into it. A lot of these characters aren't solely villains, like I said, Bon Clay, but they're really cool, so they're gonna rank based on them being villains, though, their antagonistic role in the story. Even though, like, Bon Clay, he's an S tier character, but is he an S tier villain? Maybe. Yeah, so let's just start right up with my guy, Absalom. I hate Absalom. He is in D tier. Absalom, he is a pretty degenerate guy. His fight with Sanji was no. It was just no. Yeah. He's my least favorite of the Thriller Bark people, without a doubt. I even like Hogback more than him, and a lot of people don't even like him. So, he's probably staying pretty close to the bottom of this list. And then to hard contrast, you can't really see all of them. We have my man Akainu, who is an S tier villain, without a doubt. His potential in the story is really cool. I love that he is solely in charge of the Marines now and has connections to the Celestial Dragons. It makes me very, very intrigued to see not only how he turned to be like this, his flashback and all that stuff, but what exactly he's going to continue doing for the story. I also really like his sort of rivalry with Fujitora. I think it's pretty awesome. Now we have Alvida. Alvida's really strange because I don't dislike Alvida at all, but I feel like she's just rather bland, you know what I mean? She's cool. I like that she came back and is in Buggy's crew, which I think is really fun, but generally I don't find her very compelling. I really like the stuff in Logtown with Sanji falling in love with her. I thought that was really funny. So I am going to give her C, because I think she's cool, you know, I think she's cool, but she's just like, if Alvida shows up, I'm not like, oh, you know what I mean? And she's the first villain, besides Higuma, in the story, so, really cool. Now, my guy Kuzon, that's another S tier villain right there, that's another S tier villain. He is so sick. I'm endlessly invested to see what he is going to do in the story. His arrival in the story with freezing Luffy, it was super sick. He definitely made a great entrance and showed just how powerful the Marines are when he showed up. He was great in Marineford, he was great in Punk Hazard. I want to see so much more from this guy, and I'm so curious to see what he's up to. Now, oh my god, there's a lot of S tier villains. I'm sorry, my One Piece bias is really strong, but I'm just like looking at the first row and I'm seeing like, oh no, there's a lot. My guy Arlong, I love Arlong so much. He's such a great antagonist. I love that he is just so evil, but not because he is just like, you know, a bad person. It's just the world that he was brought into. I think it's really cool. Him getting a lot of development in Fishman Island was great. So I'm going to give him A tier. I don't think he's S tier, but he's A tier, which is really, really great because Arlong is sick. Now, okay, this is a good one. This is a good one. Baby 5. I really like Baby 5, but Baby 5 isn't like a Kainu, like where it's like this is a main villain type enemy. Baby 5 was just a nice minor enemy from Dressrosa. I love her character. I love her like sincerity and like, oh, they need me. I love her powers. They're super cool. And I just hope we get to see more from her now that she's kind of part of the Grand Fleet with Sai. So I'm going to put her in B. I like her a lot. Now, back on Dressrosa, we got my guy Bellamy. Bellamy, I really, really didn't like. Obviously, like a lot of people, him and Jaya was just despicable. Like, this man is the worst of the worst. He spits in the face of everything we see as, you know, we're following Luffy's journey, and he's like the anti-Luffy, which is very ironic because the anti-Luffy is 2 away from him. And it's just, man, Bellamy in Dressrosa is so peak. He's so amazing. I love what Oda did with his character and how especially in his second confrontation with Luffy. Oh man, I love Bellamy now. Bellamy is someone I am thoroughly invested in seeing what's going to happen to his character. So I'm going to give him A. He's not S tier. He's definitely not S tier, but he's A for sure. Bellamy is fantastic. Now, I'm just going to do this straight up. Both these next characters are S tier. Big Mom and Blackbeard. They're both S tier. That's obvious. They're obviously S tier. Big Mom, amazing character. I love her entire aesthetic, her powers, her flashback. I just love how she's such a wild card. She's manipulative one moment and then just a monster the next, and then clueless. It's so cool. It's literally like something you can never really expect what's fully going on. I love that her dream is something so positive, but she's taken such a negative spin on it in order for it to be like self-centered, like, oh, I'm gonna be the one to do this, so they have to stay. I think it's really, really great. And Blackbeard's Blackbeard. He's literally like the end game villain. He's so cool. I love that he's just an inversion of Luffy and just everything about him. I love that instead of working hard, he just finds these ways to con things out of, which honestly is working hard because he's been a manipulative planner rather than Luffy's impulse. I think it's really, really cool. I love both these characters so much. Now, Blueno. Okay. CP9 is very strange for me because I like CP9 a lot, but a lot of them aren't really like driven by their own goal since they're obviously just working for the world government. Now, Blueno, I'm probably going to give a B. Blueno's cool. He's under Baby 5. I'm going to order a lot of these later. I'm going to put him under Baby 5 because I feel like Blueno, he doesn't have as much of a distinct personality, but he's still really imposing. I love his reveal with Lucci, Kaku, and Khalifa. It's just super sick. He's really cool. His fight with Luffy, Gear 2nd revealed, pretty awesome. So he is definitely a B. His power is also sick. The door fruit. Oh, my girl, Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock is amazing. I love her. As an antagonist, I don't think she's really that good, but I definitely like her a lot. I think that her entire reveal of the Celestial Dragon mark is really fascinating. I really, really am curious how Hancock's story is going to keep developing as it goes on, because obviously the warlords are getting hunted down. So I'm really curious how exactly that is going to play into her role in the story, since Kobe is going after her. Is Kobe going to fangirl over Luffy with her? Is Kobe going to capture her and then she'll be reclaimed as like a slave to the Celestial Dragons? I think there's a lot of potential. So I'm going to give her an A because I think she's really cool, has a lot of story potential, but at this point, she's not that level. She's just not. Honestly, I'm thinking of her as like a villain though. If I'm thinking of her as a villain, it's probably B, because she was really imposing, especially because she like ruled the whole island. She's a warlord, literally, like, big deal. But I don't know. She's much better as an ally than a villain. Alright, my guy Buffalo, he's a D tier. Yeah. So my guy Buggy is sick. I love Buggy. Everything Buggy's about. His falling into power is so funny. How he just kept getting higher and higher ranking in the world. I think it's absolutely hilarious. I love that Buggy has all these important lore connections, but he's also such like a fodder character that somehow just keeps getting higher up. It's really funny. I personally believe Buggy will be a Yonko by the end of the series. I think that would be a really great twist because, of course, Luffy's going to be one. If the Yonkos even exist after Wano. But if Buggy is the other one, after the Warlord shenaniganry going on right now, I think that would be absolutely hilarious. And because people think, like, oh, Kid or Law is going to be the next Warlord. If it's Buggy, I think that would just be wild. So I cannot wait to see how he continues to progress in the story. So I'm going to give Buggy an A. Buggy's an A. He's awesome. I love him. Alright, now this is Bullet from Stampede. I'm not going to lie. A lot of the movie ones I don't know. I have seen Stampede. That's one of the few movies I've seen from One Piece. So I actually do know this character. Personally, I think his fight versus all the Worst Generation was pretty sick. That was really, really cool. His power is pretty broken though. And it's just like, I feel like they tried to make him seem so important. Like, oh, he was on Roger's crew. He did all this. And it's like, that's cool. But like, I don't know. It doesn't really feel like it connects to the world as much as I think it should, in a weird way. The movie is cool though. I would recommend watching it, especially if you're a fan. Ton of characters in it, like at least like, oh my god, I think there's like at least 50 characters that are like, bring them all in. Like even Wapol and Foxy show up. It's so funny. I'm probably gonna give him like a D as well, but above these two, because I like him more, but he's just like strong man. Like he's not really a character, you know. He's just like a wall for Luffy to beat up. All right, Caesar. This is a really interesting one. Caesar is in Punk Hazard. I didn't care for him that much, but as he kept going on in the story, he's just so awful. He's such a terrible person, but he's also hilarious, and I like him more and more the more he shows up. Like in Whole Cake Island, I love Caesar. I think Caesar is great in Whole Cake Island. This is actually kind of hard because I think his power is really cool too. His connections to Vegapunk and Mads. I'm very curious. So I'm actually going to give Caesar a B. Probably over Boa Hancock, because Hancock is not really a villain that long. She's just, you know, an ally for most of it. And Caesar, he's an ally, but like, not because he wants to be. It's like, I got a dip for Big Mom. She's going to kill me. Which I think is really funny. Alright, Beige. My guy Beige. So I really like Beige in Whole Cake Island. I think he's really great. I love his family connection kind of deal. I love that he tried to kill Big Mom. That was so sick. That was an amazing reveal. His power's awesome. I just think a lot of things about him are really great. As an antagonist, I think he works pretty well as well, because we expect the manipulative mafia guy to, you know, be that guy. So it was pretty cool that that was sort of actually ingrained into his character. I'm gonna give him a B as well. I'm gonna put him over Baby 5 because that just feels right to me. He's a lot more fleshed out of a character than Baby 5, obviously, because he had a whole arc for him. Not, you know what I mean. So yeah, Capo Beige, pretty cool. I hope he comes back to the story. I don't really know how he would, except in the final war. But he'll probably be on the Straw Hat side, which is pretty cool. Very excited to see how that plays out. Alright, Caribou. Caribou is so strange to me. Caribou has a lot of potential, obviously, because he knows about Poseidon, one of the few people in the whole world that does. But Caribou as a villain was so awful. Like, I really didn't care for him much at all. His turn in Wano as like an ally character, I think is really, really fascinating. So it's kind of weird, but at the same time, I really think he could just betray them at any second. It'd be like, oh, don't kill me. Here's this information you need to know, Kaido and Big Mom. That's the only thing I'm thinking while I'm seeing Caribou in this arc. But at the same time, everyone's like, oh, it's all thanks to you, Caribou. And it's just like, this. He's really fascinating to me because I have no clue what Oda's doing with this character. So I'm going to get, as an antagonist, I'm going to give him a C. I find him at least better than Absalom and Buffalo. So, you see. Alright, so for a lot of Blackbeard's crew, they're pretty much going to be in the same rank because we don't really know much about them. But we know like little things. So like Katarina Devon here, she has the Kitsune devil fruit. It's like the nine-tailed fox. I think that's the Kitsune. And she's allowed to shapeshift, which is pretty cool. I like that she has this whole manipulative ability that allows her to change form, which is pretty similar to like Robin. So I feel like this will probably be Robin's final fight if we're thinking about it like that. So that's really cool. I like that she has like a whole like witch energy. She gives me like witch vibes. I don't really know how to describe it, like witch vibes. But I think she's cool. I think she has potential. She's one of the Blackbeard crew people that I'm more invested in than others because I think her ability is really cool. So I'm going to give her a C. I'll probably put it above Caribou. Cracker, okay. So Cracker's really strange because Cracker's cool. I do like Cracker, but I also don't really care. Like, if we're thinking about like other villains in Whole Cake Island, I think Cracker is definitely one of the weaker ones. Like, Even characters like Montdor, or the genie guy who's right next to him, Daifuku, that's his name. Even compared to them, I like them more than I like Cracker, but Cracker got a whole fight, which I think is kind of sad. Like, I thought, don't get me wrong, the fight was cool. I like that it showed, like, Luffy's endurance and, you know, eating food. And then right after, we get the hardest turn of, like, oh, I'm going to starve myself. I thought that was really, really cool. But him as the antagonist, I did not personally care for that much. So I'm going to give him a C, probably like the high C. Ugh. We're back onto God tier antagonists. My guy Crocodile. I am so invested in what Crocodile is going to do in the new world. I really want to know how his story is going to continue, because Luffy has literally reinvigorated this dude's life. Crocodile was very cold and closed off, but ever since Luffy entered his life, he's like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to get a new crew. Mr. One, you're going to join me? We're bros forever now. It's just really cool, and I'm wondering what he's going to do in the new world. What are his plans? Is he going to possibly come back into the story? I feel like he will, which would be really cool. And genuinely, it's just, man, he was so great in Alabasta as this manipulative, like, organization boss role. He had great fights with Luffy. Then he re-enters the story in Impel Down, and he was even better, in my opinion, in that. We got to see his connection with Whitebeard. Oh my god. Crocodile is awesome. I'm going to give him an A for sure. He's absolutely amazing. I'm probably going to put him at the top of A. I'm not going to lie. He's very good. He's very, very good. Alright, now my guy, Daifuku, the genie one, I'm going to put him in B, because that sounds bad. That sounds so bad, because, like, Cracker's, like, a character, and Daifuku's, like, cool power and strong, and that's it. It's just, like, I don't know. Can I really do that? Can I really do that? He's cool. He's one of Katakuri's, like, triplet bros. Actually, I'm going to check real quick. Is Oven on here? He is. Okay, so all three of the triplets are on this list. That's pretty cool. I'm going to put, I'm going to put Daifuku in C. I'm also going to put Oven in C. I'll put him above him, though, because Oven had, like, things to do. I know I skipped forward, but I'm like, I'm not going to explain this. But they're really cool. I actually think they have potential, because they were really imposing, at least in my opinion. Oven, obviously, with basically killing Pound until he didn't, because Oda doesn't kill characters. Oven going after Pudding and Sanji, I thought that was really threatening. And Daifuku on the sea, sending the genie out for the Sunny, I thought that was really cool. So those two, really, really cool. I hope they do more. Alright, my guy Dellinger or Bellinger, I don't know. I think it's Dellinger. Dellinger, he's alright. His fight in Dressrosa, I feel like, was definitely one of the weakest of all of Doflamingo's crew. I do like that he's a fighting fishman. I thought that was pretty cool. I like that he had, like, the creepy teeth and stuff. Him beating the crap out of Bellamy, that was pretty crazy. And then Bartolomeo saving the day. Fanboys forever. Dellinger's weird. Like, I feel like, again, the Doflamingo family, for me, has a lot of weak, like, not that fleshed out characters. That's just me, though, obviously. And Dellinger, I feel like, is definitely one of, if not the least fleshed out. Well, Buffalo's there, never mind. I'm gonna put Dellinger in D. I'm not gonna lie. I don't dislike Dellinger. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of, like, I'll do here. I feel like there's just a lot that could have been there. I'm gonna put him at the top because, like I said, the Bartolomeo Bellamy scene, I really like that, and his fishman form, so that was pretty cool. Alright, Diamante. I like how they did, like, a real life Steven Tyler edit of Diamante. I like Diamante. I think out of the top three, so Diamante, Pika, Treble, he's my favorite, but I don't really like any of them because genuinely I feel like they could have been a lot more. Diamante had the most going on because he was in charge of the Coliseum, so you got to see a cool fight with him and Sabo and Burgess and all of them. And then he had to fight with Kyros. Kyros, absolute Chad, and it showed not really... Oh, his power's really cool too. I like his ability to, like, form into, like, ribbons and stuff and create things from ribbons. I think he's really cool, genuinely. Out of the Doflamingo people, he's definitely one of the most fleshed out. and like showing up in the story and feeling threatening. So I'm actually going to put him at the top of C. I feel like he's pretty good. Like I said, he's pretty good, but he's not like Baby 5. I feel like is endearing in a way where it's like, yes, you are really, really great for the little you've shown. Diamante was shown a lot more, yet he was still kind of like, meh. He's cool though, don't get me wrong. All right, Doc Q. Doc Q, I'm just going to put him right with Katarina. I think he belongs next to her because of his very imposing nature. And I love that one scene where he's talking to Luffy and he's like, ooh, fortune is on your side, because he picked the right apple out of the bomb and disease apples, which I thought was really funny. I love that his horse is also as weak as he is, stronger. I think it's absolutely hilarious. He is probably one of my favorite design-wise of Blackbeard's crew, because it's like, who is this guy? This dude's a joke. I think it's really funny. But anyway, now onto another S-tier antagonist. My guy, Doflamingo. He's absolutely amazing. He is one of the pinnacle antagonists of One Piece. He's so fleshed out. His power is amazing. I love his relationships with so many characters, his lore, his potential. And my favorite thing about Doflamingo is the fact that he is sort of like this omnipotent person because of his connection to the Celestial Dragons. He has this ability to just ramble and be like, this is the end is near, stuff like that. With the war for the throne of Pirate King starts now. Like at the end of Dressrosa when he's like rambling to Suru in Impel Down, it's so menacing, but it's really, really cool because it's just like, it feels earned. Especially because in Marineford, he had the whole speech like, oh, who is justice? Justice is the ones who win the battle. That's just, man, Doflamingo's so sick. I really, really like him as a character. Not just because of his design, which is really cool. His flashback, man, he's just awesome. He's like a really great full package character. Honestly, I'm going to edit this real quick. I'm going to put Blackbeard at the top. Because Blackbeard is personally, I think he's going to be that guy. And I think he's very compelling already. I'm going to probably put Doflamingo up. This feels wrong. This feels so difficult. Because I love these characters. I love like all of them. So I kind of want to not order it, but I feel like I should. You know what I mean? Man, we're only on D. We literally just got the D for Doflamingo. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to do this. Not that I don't like Akainu. It's just, I think out of what we have from him right now, he's shown the least. I think he has the most potential, though, which has me very, very excited. But I think this is my order because, but Big Mom is so cool. See, I hate this. This is so, no, this, yeah. That's what I'm doing. No, but if we're doing it by villains, yes, this is the order. This is the order for now. All right. Don Chinzhao, when I was watching Dressrosa, I thought he was kind of cool, not gonna lie. I feel like he was very intimidating. I love his connection with Garp. I like his whole arc with the little point on his head. I thought it was pretty funny. I think he's cool. I thought it was very shocking that he had Conqueror's Haki, and him clashing with Luffy was pretty awesome. I'm gonna give him a C. He's probably gonna go high C because I felt like he was cool. So yeah. Hogback. Okay, a lot of people don't like Hogback, but I kind of do. I think that his connection with Chopper and that rivalry is really, really cool, and probably one of my favorite aspects of Thriller Bark. I love Sindri, who sadly is not on this list, but he created Sindri, who's a really great One Piece character, who's just like a fun gag, and then it's like, oh my god, this is so tragic, which happens quite often. But Hogback being very manipulative and just this degenerate, I think is really cool. But it's not in the bad way like Absalom, because Hogback is just, you know, he's meant to be the Frankenstein, you know, sort of guy. So him doing all this stuff kind of makes sense. He also made oars. He has a lot of cool stuff going on with him. So I'm going to give him a C as well. I also love that his ending with Sindri, I'm going to put him there. I love his ending with Sindri, how it's like, Sindri, help me, because Oars is going to crush him, and Sindri does not help. I thought that was a really great ending. Alright, now my guy Drake. I love Drake. If you've been watching my One Piece videos for a little bit, you know that my guy Drake, You know, he's one of my favorite supernova. He's just really, really cool. And genuinely, I don't think as an antagonist he worked that well, because I like him a lot more as an ally. He's so awesome. Man, Drake is that guy, bro. Obviously, his powers are awesome. I love his connection with Sword right now, which is very, very interesting. I'm very intrigued to see where that development goes. I think I'm going to put him in C, though, because I think he's good as an antagonist, but he's not, like, great. For example, let me just go to Hawkins right now, because Hawkins is also an antagonist. I think he worked a lot better, because he had this whole manipulation idea with the straw lives inside of himself. I love his fight with Killer. I thought that was really, really sick. And he just had this sort of hopelessness around him, like, Kaido will destroy us. If I gave up now, you know, I would not live, the highest chance of survival. I really like that aspect of Hawkins. So I'm going to put Hawkins in B, probably under Blue now, because I think he's a lot better of an antagonist than Drake. I also think Hawkins works better as an antagonist because we got a sort of idea that he is kind of twisted with what he did with Brownbeard's crew in Punk Hazard. So I thought like he was better set up as an antagonistic character than Drake was, because he was kind of in the same line as Kid, where he's like kind of cold and heartless when they're introduced. And then my guy Duval was really funny, really funny, don't get me wrong, but personally I feel like as a villain he didn't work. But he's really funny though, so I'm gonna give him a C, probably next to probably next to Caribou. You know, he's alright, but I don't know, as an ally I think he's a lot better. Now we're on another fantastic villain right now. We're on my guy Enel. Enel is awesome. I think he's super creative. I love how ambivalent he is to everything he does. He's like, oh, I'm just better than you, I'm superior. And him getting that reality check with Luffy's fruit is super sick. I love his omnipotent sort of idea that literally, because of his mantra, his observation hockey, he knows everything. He's able to summon lightning at any point. It's just, Enel's so great. And I love his just coldness towards everyone. I like his sort of thing he was doing with Nami around the end of the arc, where he was trying to like force her to be his navigator. So that was pretty cool. Ah, man. I like that he's able to just summon lightning and just strike it at any place. That was really imposing when he did it to Kanis's dad. But obviously Oda doesn't kill characters, so you know how it is. So I'm going to give Enel an A. I think he's really great. I'm hoping he comes back into the story. I'm going to put him... Yeah. I'm hoping he comes back into the story, because he had the whole cover story with learning about the Skypians that came from the moon. I'm curious if the Lunarians are there as well in the hieroglyphics. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, Enel, pretty great character. Very excited to see him return. Now, the fake Luffy, I'm going to put him in like C. I didn't dislike him, I just really was apathetic. It's just like, it's a cute idea. I like in the anime how they made the voices of the different Straw Hats voice, different roles. I thought that was pretty funny. But man, like I was very bored. And it's kind of fitting that Caribou and him are right next to each other, because they're introduced at the same time. But yeah, he's just, no, he's not. Foxy, I'm going to put Foxy in C as well. I don't hate Foxy. I think his gimmick of his crew is pretty fun. So we're going to put him in C. I'll probably put him like above Alvida. Yeah, I'll put him above Alvida. The ordering for the lower parts is just a jumbled mess. But Foxy is cool. It's just like, I don't know. His ability's cool. I like how manipulative he is. But he's nothing really imposing. That's kind of his thing. Frankie as an antagonist though was very imposing. I thought he was really cool. I love his creepy mask, and then the review, obviously Frankie is, we know Frankie, but I'm gonna put him honestly in like high C. I thought like he was a pretty good antagonist, and then him coming an ally I thought was way better, obviously. But yeah, Frankie, he was a cool antagonist. He had potential. Now, my guy Fujitora. Fujitora is... Yes, I love Fujitora so much. So I'm going to put him in S tier, of course, because Fujitora is sick, and I love him. He's so imposing. I think he would be a really cool rival for Zoro, because obviously they're both swordsmen. He's also from Wano, so maybe there would be more connection with that. I love Fujitora's fight with Luffy at the end of Dressrosa. I thought that was really cool. Man, there's just so much to like about him. Like I said, his rivalry with Kainu I thought was really interesting. I don't think he's like going to be a main villain deal, but he's definitely going to be in the final war. He's going to play a big role, so I'm very excited to see what he does then, especially because of this sort of disconnect with Akainu. I'm very, very intrigued. And I'm genuinely wondering how exactly maybe he'll turn to be an ally. That would be pretty crazy, because obviously the Straw Hats are on Wano. Fujitora's from Wano. Maybe some connection there. That could be pretty cool. Okay, so the zipper dude, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember his name, but the zipper guy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, out of the CP9 people, him and the Kabuki inspired one are the ones I like kind of zone out the least. I mean, the most on, because I don't know, I just think the fights are kind of like, you know, they're there. But I'm gonna give them like a C. I feel like, you know, they're there. I feel like there's a much better antagonist in CP9, which is Spandam, obviously. He's a terrible person, but definitely a best antagonist out of the CP9 group, in my opinion. And I know that's kind of a hot take, that I think he's better than Lucci, but I think because he's just such a degenerate, and he's so connected to Frankie's flashback and all that, I think he's better overall. So I'm going to give him a C. Actually, I could just do CP9 right now. Now that I'm thinking about it. If the Kabuki one is here. I'm trying to even find him. Alright, well, I can't find him immediately, but let's go with Khalifa. I think Khalifa is pretty good as well. I really like her fight with Nami. It made it feel like Nami is, you know, no pushover. I found a Kabuki guy, by the way. Sorry. Nami's no pushover. Really cool fight. Nice to see her get some success. I like that Sanji was like, I can't fight her, and Nami was like, I got you. It was pretty cool. Showed a lot of trust in the group. I think Khalifa is a B. Probably above Blue now. Kaku. Now, Kaku and Lucci are obviously more distinct because they are going to continue on in the story as part of CP0, which has me very, very intrigued. I'm very curious to see where they're going. Kaku is always my favorite of CP9 because I thought he was really funny, as well as the giraffe is just like, oh, I hate this. This is terrible. I just think he's really cool, and like a cool, like, he's like the Zoro to, it's called Lucci being Luffy. So I thought that was cool. I'm gonna put Kaku in B. Now Lucci. Oh, I can't see. Here's Jabra. I think Jabra is good as well. I don't think he's compelling as Lucci and Kaku, but I think he's good. I'm gonna put him where Khalifa and Bluno are. Or Spandam. This is rather ridiculous. Oh, there's Lucci. Okay, so Lucci is here. I'm gonna put him in A, and wherever Spandam is, I'll put him in A as well. There he is. And are there any others I'm missing? I don't think there are. There's Nero. Is Nero on here? Alright, well, I can't see any others. If I get to it eventually, you know, I'll do that. Also, and if I could just left click, that'd be crazy. There we go. Caesar Clan. Wait, what? Oh, no. I'm stupid. This is Gangster Gastino. I'm sorry. I don't know how I confused the two. Like CC, GG, they kind of look similar. Gangster Gastino. I think we're gonna have to add a tier for this. Hold on. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to add a tier. Hold on. Hold on. We gotta do this real quick. I'm sorry. This is probably, you know, bad for the video, but you know, we gotta add this. Hold on. Get like this, yeah. And speaking of G tier, we gotta do something real quick. There he is. There we go. We had to do that. I'm sorry. Now that might be hampering the video, but you know, they're both very G tier candidates, you know. Okay. I think his name's Gidatsu. I think that's his name. It's the you can't hear what I said, but one who talks like this. I think Gidatsu is pretty cool. I like him a lot. I think he's very funny. I actually like his fight with Chopper. Chopper, like, I'm a man. It felt pretty cool. I'm gonna put him in B. I'm gonna put him in B. I like him. I think out of Enel's, you know, priests, I think he's probably one of my favorites. I'm gonna put this one in C tier because he sucks. I like this one too. I don't remember his name though. I think it's like Om. I'm thinking Om because of Amphibia. Om. I think Om is cool. I like this fight with Zoro. I'm gonna put him in B as well. And there's one other one. Let me see if I can find it. No, it doesn't seem like I can find it. Oh, if it's there, I'll see it eventually, like I said. Alright. Now this guy, I know him. He's from Film Gold. However, I haven't seen Film Gold, so I'm gonna have to add a tier. Actually, I just won't put him on because I haven't seen the movie. So that makes sense. Now Geen. Alright, Geen, I like Geen a lot. I like the idea that people really think Geen is coming back. It's kind of like, I feel like it's kind of a meme, but not at the same time. But genuinely, I think he's pretty cool. I like his sort of sincerity and like actual like thank you Sanji, and he sacrificed himself, well not sacrificed, but gave him the poison mask because he was like, you deserve it. I think Geen's pretty cool. He's not really antagonistic, but I like his little spinning things, pretty cool. I'm gonna give him a C, probably the top of C. He's a pretty good. Joela, alright, so Joela is not like great. She's not great at all. But I do think her art powers are so cool. They're just really, really cool to look at. I'm curious how exactly deep it sort of goes. And like, I know there's a whole thing. It's like a prophecy. The thing with Nami, Brook, Chopper, and Momo. So that has me very invested as well. I think she's cool. She's not really that much. She's definitely C because her power's cool and there's nothing else really. But I liked her. I'm just going to stop ordering C, by the way, except for like you. You're terrible. But I'm going to stop ordering C. I think the only ones that'll be ordered are, you know, the higher ones. Hannibal, I actually really liked him in Impel Down. I thought he said some really cool stuff. It was like, this place is meant to be the place that keeps all the worst of the worst, and you're breaking all these people out like it's nothing. Like, you don't realize what you're doing. I thought that was a really powerful scene. It made us realize, like, Luffy is a bad person. This is a terrible thing he's doing. I like that Hannibal is the warden now, and his relationship with Magellan, who, you know, was like, sort of hoping that Hannibal would become the warden. I thought that was pretty cool. I'll do Magellan right after this since I see him. But Hannibal, I think he's pretty cool. I'm going to give him a B, honestly. I think he was pretty great. And then Magellan, I'm giving an A, because Magellan is awesome. I love his powers. And he's not only funny, but he's also just like, he's incredibly threatening, but he's also really funny with his whole poison diarrhea joke. I like that he not only destroyed Luffy, he also destroyed Blackbeard, which I thought was really cool. And man, I feel like he's such a force of good, like genuinely, even though this place is awful. Like, he's actually like, I'm not going to let these prisoners escape because they're bad people. But at the same time, the world government could just arrest anyone because their power is absolute. I don't know. He's a very fascinating character, in my opinion. I hope we see Hannibal and Magellan again, because genuinely I think they are pretty cool. Hina, I'd say out of all the marine characters, Hina is the one I'm the least interested in, without a doubt. she was cool early on in the story, but she's really like phased out of the entire story for the most part. Like she shows up in like some scenes with Garp and stuff, but you know, she's cool though. I'd give her a C. She's you know, she's alright. Let's go like here. I'm like just like place him anywhere. Hody Jones. Okay, so this is I think gonna be a hot take because a lot of people don't like Hody Jones, but as I've you know reread and like thought back more on One Piece and all that stuff, Hody Jones is I think really compelling because let's think about it from like a narrative point. Obviously, if the Straw Hats have trained up for all these years, you want them to just like wash this villain, right? And make sure they don't just jump right into the deep end. But Hody Jones is not threatening because of his strength. He's threatening because of his ideals and the things he's able to convince people to believe. He's essentially like a puppet master where he's like convincing these people of all these horrible, hateful things and trying to manipulate Fishman Island to being, you know, very like, what's it called, prejudiced against humans and everyone else. I think it's very manipulative and intriguing, especially for a One Piece villain, because the whole arc relates to, you know, social relations between race. And I think him trying to be this force of hatred and vengeance is really interesting. I don't think there's ever going to be another villain like Hody Jones, genuinely. And if there are, I don't really know how they could top him, except if they're just strong. But, like, that's not even the point of his character. Genuinely, I think I'm going to give him an A. Wow, wow. Yeah, I think I'm going to give him an A. I think he's, like, I don't know. I think he's just compelling. He's more, the more I, like, think on Hody Jones, the more I'm, like, he's a victim of tragedy and circumstance. Like, if he wasn't influenced by people like Arlong, it wouldn't have happened. So I think it's very, it's a very fascinating character study, for sure. Ichiji's red, I'm pretty certain. I'll do all of Sanji's brothers, and I didn't see Reiju, but I'll do, and Judge. I'll do Judge and Sanji's brothers all together. So, I don't really like Germa, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think they're great, but they're not like my, you know, they're cool. That's really it. I really like the cover story that's happening right now, actually, with them on Whole Cake. I'm very intrigued to see where this is going. Maybe we'll get some secret info, like maybe what Blackbeard's up to. That'd be crazy. Because there's the whole theory of him going to Whole Cake Island. But thinking about the three brothers, I think the blue one was my favorite because he had the whole scene of this food is garbage, and he was going to throw the plate at the one chef lady, and then they beat her. Like, that was crazy. That was a really, like, genuinely, as villains, I think they're really great. They're really great as villains because they're so despicable. They're so awful. So actually, I'm probably gonna put them as villains in like B. Like, they're really, really terrible people. Yeah, they're probably the top of B. They're pretty good for villains. Like, Sanji is just, he's hopeless. He's like, I can't. He had to lie. He had to beat Luffy up in order to like lie to himself. Like, oh, you know, I can't join you. Genuinely, Germa, pretty good villains. I just don't care much for them as characters because I feel like, especially with Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji, they're not really that much of characters, but that's the point of them. They're kind of like pawns to judge. That's, you know. But genuinely, actually, nah, this feels right. This feels right. I think they're good antagonists, for sure. I just wish they were more distinct, but that's literally not even the point of their character. So wow, I like how I was like, I don't really like, but now they're like, oh, they're B tier. Top B. Okay. So Jack is, out of Kaido's main dudes, I think Jack is the one that I just was the least invested in. But that's because he didn't really get a real fight. But his stuff on Zoe was really cool. He was very, very threatening. Obviously, he's the billion berry. He was that guy. He was like 1 billion berry, which is pretty crazy, pretty huge reveal. I love his mammoth powers. He seems very cold and distant. The reveal of him being a fishman was pretty cool, and that's how he stayed around. I thought that was neat. I feel like Jack's cool. He's just like, he's not really much of a character. You know, he's just like threatening, strong man. So I'm giving him a B for sure, because he's definitely threatening in the story. I'm putting him under Germa. Germa is like the highest. I'm realizing like this is the border. If you're above Germa, I'm probably really, really invested in you as a villain. And I like how Bucky is there. That's funny. Burgess. All right, Burgess out of the Blackbeard crew, besides probably like Shiryu, is the one I'm the most invested in, because we got that whole thing with him in Dressrosa. We saw him in Jaya. You know, we've been around with Burgess for a while, and I don't know. I like him. I like his confidence, his cockiness. I like his very like macho Zangief abilities. I think it's cool. I love his fight with Sabo and how he tries to like kill people to steal devil fruits. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna give him like a B. I'm gonna give him a B. I'll probably put him like above Caesar, because, you know, he's more of an active threat than Caesar was. Caesar just tries to, you know, get around it. Bobbins. I'm going to put Bobbins in C. Bobbins didn't really have that much of a threat for me. He was just one of the whole cake people who were like, okay, you know, he was an early threat. He's kind of like Peckholmes and Beige at the start. Well, Beige was pretty good as a villain, because remember when he shot Peckholmes? Oh, that was pretty sick. But anyway, Bobbins, he'll be C. You know, there's nothing really crazy about him that I'm like drawn to, but I don't know, he's cool. He's got a very creepy design. He was one of the first whole cake people we ever saw, right when Big Mom was introduced and Pudding was introduced. So that's pretty cool. All right, now we're on a pretty big run right now. We're on a pretty big run. I'm realizing this row has like heavy hitter after heavy hitter. So Kaido is S tier. Let me just go all at once. Kaido's S tier. Katakuri is S tier. And those two are in a row, but I'm just looking to see. There's no other S tiers for a little bit, so let's just go Kaido. Kaido, I really like Kaido. He's very cool. He honestly has like his evolution in Wano alone is just so fascinating. Not evolution, just the more we learn about him, the more I'm compelled. Like the stuff with rocks, the stuff with Joy Boy, all this stuff. His relation to death I find very interesting, especially concerning what happened with Luffy last chapter. I think he's really great and has genuinely a lot of potential, and I'm curious after this sort of reveal with what's going on with Luffy, what he's going to react to it. Is he going to possibly feel like sad that he wasn't Joy Boy? Is he going to feel angry that he doesn't? Or maybe he's going to try and save Luffy, or, you know, try and figure out how to ensure Joy Boy lives on. Kaido is actually incredibly fascinating to me at this point. I love him. He's awesome. I'm going to probably put him above Doflamingo, because I think he's very... we're going to put him above Big Mom as well. Now, Katakuri, I love a lot as well. I love his struggle with identity. I felt like that was very real, being like the older sibling. It's like, you gotta be a brick wall sometimes, and I definitely can relate to that. I feel like I had to be a brick wall a lot of the time as, you know, someone who is to hold back emotion to try and help others when they're down. So I've definitely felt like that very specifically hit for me. I really like his sort of power dynamic with Luffy, how he's just him but better, but Luffy just keep going and going and going. I feel like that was really great. I love his connections with like Brule. That felt very real to me as well. I was like, oh my god. His connection to Big Mom, where he's very like cold and like distant. Well, that's because that's the front he puts up, but actually he wants to just be like kind of like goofy and fun. I don't know. I really like Katakuri. I think his design is sick as hell. I just love his powers. His ability to like morph as the Mochi, I feel like was really, really cool. Obviously, he is an awakening. I didn't mention that for Doflamingo, but they're awakened characters. So that's like a level up in like coolness factor and like powers and all that. But Katakuri, like doing like the arm turning into Mochi and then slamming Luffy down and like turning into the Mochi wheel. Really sick. I just think Katakuri's awesome. And as the fight continued, and he was like, I no longer think of you something I look down upon. Oh, He's so cool. I'm gonna put him above Kuzon. Yeah, I'm gonna put him above Kuzon because I think he's a better antagonistic force than Kuzon was. Alright, King. Now King, I'll do Queen right after this as well. King is very interesting to me because King was also one of those characters who was like, I didn't really feel anything for this character for a long time. Like, I just didn't care. Like, his design was cool, but like, was that it? The only thing interesting about King was the Lunarian stuff, which was pretty cool. It led into some Sanji stuff, so I liked that a lot. But I really think King leveled up a lot, where he's like considered Kaido Joy Boy. I thought that was pretty cool. Him being Kaido's first mate that he saved from Punk Hazard of all places was pretty cool. I feel like we're going to get some Punk Hazard stuff in Kaido's flashback, which I'm hoping a lot. And that's probably how Vegapunk got the Kaido Devil Fruit copy. I think that's definitely how it's going to go down. King is really cool. His fight with Zoro I liked a lot. I thought that he was a cool antagonist. Imposing. I don't think he was as imposing as Queen, though. Queen, I felt like, was a lot more of an active force in Wano, especially because we saw him in the prison. So we've known about Queen for a long time. We've seen him do these horrible, horrible things, and then him be a horrible, horrible person. So I'm going to put King at B tier, because I think King is pretty good, but not like the most imposing villain. But Queen, I'm putting in A tier. I think Queen is a pretty great villain. Not only is Queen very funny and comical, he's also incredibly like awful and like a terrible person. He just uses people as like tools and pawns to like, you know, test these viruses on. Like, I remember the one scene where he's like, oh, Apu, here's the cure, go chase after him, because he's just bored. So I think Queen is very fun. He's just such a degenerate. He's so awful, but at the same time he has all these lore stuff too. He's connected to Vegapunk, he's connected to Caesar, he's connected to Judge, so that's how he knew about Sanji. And that's why I felt it was really perfect that Queen actually has all the Germa powers, which is so sick. It felt really, really cool, because of course he does, he's connected to Judge. And it felt really even better in my opinion that Sanji, obviously being connected to Germa, fought Queen. So I really, really liked Queen's fight with Sanji. It was probably my favorite Sanji fight in the series, without a doubt. And this is not like a bias, like, oh, the fight was better, so Queen's better. I just genuinely think Queen is better because of his earlier arrival in the story and his way he views other people. I feel like it was very, like, a superior, superiority complex sort of thing. So Queen, I think, is very compelling. He was by far my favorite of Kaido's calamities. Kizaru. So Kizaru is definitely my least favorite admiral. I never really got that invested in Kizaru, but he's pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely going to be important in the story. I think he will. He's definitely A tier. Like, I'm putting him A tier immediately because he's an admiral. So I'm gonna. Actually, no. Imposing wise, he was pretty crazy because like he almost killed Zoro and he came in with Kuma and all them. Man, Kizaru is pretty cool. He's not that level for me. He's not like Fujitora. He's not like Akainu. He's not Kuzon. Because like he was really imposing, but for me, I felt like he was not as integral to a lot of like tragedy. Like Aokiji was there at Ohara, same with Akainu, which is actually his first introduction as well. Which I genuinely, thinking back on it, I think that's really cool how they did that. How they introduced both these characters in the same arc, and then during the time skip they have the whole fight and rivalry. I think it's neat. And of course they're fire and ice, so makes a lot of sense to me. But Kizaru, he's very much like a mystery to me at this point. I definitely think he's going to be important in the future. Obviously, he's an admiral, but what exactly he's going to do is something that I'm really thinking about. I also really liked how Kizaru was important in the Fisher Tiger flashback. Him capturing Arlong and interviewing him to try and get information on Fisher Tiger and the Fisherman and the Sun Pirates. I feel like that was really cool. So Kizaru is pretty cool. He's just not that S tier level for me because he's not as important in like an arc or the overall story as of yet. But he has potential. Don't get me wrong. All right, Don Krieg. Don Krieg's like a C. He's just like, man. Yeah, I don't know. Don Krieg's like a C. He's like, I don't. He's there. He's there. You know, he doesn't really have an imposing thing. Obviously, the more imposing thing in that arc is Mihawk, which, you know, because Mihawk just had a great entrance. Don Krieg was just like, I'm evil. Give me your food. But yeah, I don't know. He's alright. He's just like... Alright, Kuma. Kuma is an S tier villain. I absolutely love Kuma. He is one of my favorite characters in One Piece because he's so mysterious. He's so mysterious. And it's just like, ugh. I love his connections with the Revolutionary Army. I love his connections with Bonnie. I love his really imposing nature on Thriller Bark. I love his imposing nature in Sabaody. It's just, he's so mysterious. There's so much going on with him. And he's not really a villain anymore, obviously. But man, he was by far like the most threatening villain to me. Like even more than Aokiji, even more than Doflamingo at the time. But I'm going to put him here. I definitely think he is an incredibly imposing villain when he's introduced because he just wipes out Perona like it's nothing. And obviously in Sabaody, that was by far like the craziest scene of One Piece in my opinion. I'm actually probably going to move him up over Akainu in terms of like threatening factor. But I don't even feel like I can because clearly Akainu is a very threatening thing he did. So actually, I'm gonna move Doflamingo down. That's what I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling. Cause man, Kuma is so sick. I absolutely love Kuma, and it's just like, so awesome, so awesome. I hope we get a lot more from him in the future. Maybe the Revolutionary Army will be able to save him and sort of get his mind back to the way it was before Vegapunk had to turn him into a cyborg. But you know, we can hope. Maybe Bonnie will do some shenaniganry with him as well. You know, maybe revert his age and maybe that'll fix something. I'm not necessarily sure. He's also was a king of a kingdom. I didn't even mention that. The whole king of the kingdom thing has me really invested as well, especially because it's the sorbet kingdom. So that has me thinking, okay, is that maybe connected to Big Mom? Because it's a dessert, you know, sorbet. I don't know. Kuma just has so many like branching off points that could happen. And it's just cool, you know what I mean? Alright, Kuro's another like C. He's C. I think he's better than I put Morgan's here and I didn't even mention it, but he's so boring. But Kuro I like because of the things he has with Morgan's. I feel like it's just better overall. Him having that slight world building connection just feels a lot more real to me, and I like it a lot. It makes the world feel a lot more connected, you know, we get to see Kuro be this manipulator, this planner. I liked his sort of dichotomy with Usopp as well, how Kuro obviously was lying about his identity the whole time, yet he was very angry at Usopp for being this liar. I feel like it was a very cool, you know, hypocritical sort of moment. So genuinely Kuro, you know, a lot of people don't like him, you know, and that's fair. He is a rather boring antagonist, you know, compared to especially like, you know, these people. But he's not that bad. He's not that bad. I like his dichotomy with Usopp, so I think he's alright. Alright, I don't know this dude's name. I think it's Kurobi, I think. I don't know why he's here and the other ones aren't here, but like, he's like a C. Like, he's worse than this guy. Like, why is he here? I don't know. One of Arlong's minions. He fought Sanji. It was alright. I mean, he's cool. Like, I don't know. Alright, Luffy. Now, Luffy is another one of Blackbeard's crew that I like a lot. For some reason, I find Luffy very, very imposing. I just love his sort of demeanor. I think he has a lot of mystery surrounding him. Like, is he a Skypian? Or is that maybe like a devil fruit? I don't really know. His aesthetic is so distinct from basically like I can't think of another One Piece character that looks like Luffy unless they're from like Whole Cake Island. There's probably some like that. But Luffy's pretty cool. I'm gonna give him a B because I'd like him more than some of the other Blackbeard crew members because he's just cool. And he's also the one that went to Merijois, probably flew up there with his wings, and is like, I have a recommendation for the new warlord. And I just thought it was really cool. Mach Weiss, This is another like D tier. So yeah, Mach Vice. Let me move it down a bit. Mach Vice, the Tonton fruit. He is, you know, he's just there. Like, he's another one of the Doflamingo family where he's like, he's not a character. He's just like there. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna give him a D as well. I'm only putting him above Dellinger because I like Mach Vice's fight with Hirudin a lot, because I really like Hirudin. And it's sort of about like will and like strength and pushing on. And I just liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. Mihawk. Mihawk is a fantastic antagonist. I think he has a lot of potential with Zoro, obviously. You know, this fight, Zoro versus Mihawk, is going to be an absolutely unreal thing to see. I think when he first showed up, he was an A. He was an A for sure. Mihawk is an A tier antagonist. But I think he's only getting better with him training Zoro to be stronger than him and sort of surpass him. And genuinely, Mihawk's just really cool. I'm very curious to see what he's going to do now the Warlord's being hunted. I feel like he's just going to have a grand old time. He's like, ooh, I haven't been pursued in a long time. Mihawk's awesome, though. I think he's definitely an A tier antagonist, and I'm very excited to see more from him in the future. Alright, so now we're on some of the Baroque Works people, so I'll do all of them one after the other. So, Miss Doublefinger. Miss Doublefinger is actually one of my favorites. I feel like a lot of people sleep on her because obviously you got Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Mr. 3, and Crocodile. You know, they're the big ones because they went to Impel Down. But I really liked Miss Doublefinger's fight with Nami. I thought that was a really, really great fight for her. And it being her first fight, you know, I just felt like this is really cool. You know, it's nice to see her get some shine. But Miss Doublefinger's powers, I just felt were so cool. And I love how it all came to like a nice bookend, because she has this really, you know, curly blue hair, and then when she got shocked, it became like spiky like her devil fruit. I thought it was really, really cool. So I'm gonna give her a B because I think she is cool and a lot of people sleep on her. Miss Merry Christmas and Mr. 4 I'm doing together because obviously they were in a pair fight. I think they're cool. I don't really find them that compelling, obviously. I think they're, you know, abilities are a lot less intimidating than Miss Doublefinger's. So I'm gonna give them both a C. Like, they're cool, but like, yeah, they're cool, you know, but they're nothing crazy to me, you know what I mean? All right, now Mr. 1. I feel like Mr. 1 was an absolutely great antagonist. He was really, really great. I love his rivalry with Zoro. It just felt so cool. His fight with Zoro was so awesome. And now that he is continuing on to be in Crocodile's crew in the New World, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with him in the future. Because I want to see what Crocodile's up to. So him being with Crocodile is going to bump him up to B with Miss Doublefinger. So I'm just going to put him right there. Now I'm going to do Miss I think it's Miss Valentine's Day. I think let's just go with Miss Valentine's Day. That feels right. It's like I just noticed Miss Golden Week is not on this list, which I think is kind of interesting because Mr. 2 and Mr. 3 are on this list. That's a tragedy. Miss Golden Week is pretty fire. Yeah, I'm saying Miss Valentine's Day. If I'm wrong, you can roast me to death. But Miss Valentine's Day, I think her and Mr. 5, they're cool. Like, they're okay. They're C tier. You know, they're there, but they're not as developed as others. Like, I'm gonna put them with Miss Merry Christmas and Mr. 4. You know, they're okay. I'm kind of shocked. Like, Miss Golden Week's not here. Miss Monday. Back when Igarapo was in disguise, you know. Man. Baroque Works is a lot of characters, though, so I can understand not having them all. Now, Mr. 2 and Mr. 3. So Mr. 2, obviously, I love Bon Clay. He's one of my favorite characters in the whole series. But him as a villain, I thought was really, really cool as well. Because not only was he like friendly towards the Straw Hats, but then he had that whole twist. But his ability that he showed to the Straw Hats was so genius to introduce right at the start, because then you realize that he has been disguising as the king the whole time. So without Mr. 2, this whole plan would have never even worked. So not only was he really, really distinct from the start, he had the entire plan was riding on Mr. 2 being there, but he also had a really cool fight with Sanji. So Mr. 2, I think he's definitely like an A tier. He's definitely an A tier. I think he's a really great antagonistic force. So yeah, I just think he's really, really cool. Next we're gonna do Mr. 3, and then Miss All Sunday will be after. Mr. 3 I felt like was not as intimidating as Mr. 2 at the start, like at all, because he was in Little Garden in the Vacation Island, so I was like, no, not the same. But honestly, I do think Mr. 3, obviously, he's like leveled up. Now that he's in Buggy's crew, and after Impel Down and Marineford, Mr. 3 is like that guy. He's an absolute legend. But Mr. 3 at the start, he was meh. He was like there. I liked his wax ability. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, him almost killing Zoro, Nami, and Vivi, that was pretty crazy. So I'm going to put him in B. I also feel like Mr. 3 originally was a lot like more like villainous. Like the way he would talk was genuinely like evil. Like, you know what I mean? It was like some evil stuff. But obviously, as, you know, Impel Down, he became a lot more like, what are you doing? What's going on? You know, because he was just like, these people are insane. I also really like how Mr. 3 was essentially like killed off by Crocodile, but he survived with the wax ball. I thought that was pretty awesome. And last we have Miss All Sunday. So Miss All Sunday, Nico Robin, and again, another one of my favorite characters in One Piece. I thought she was a really great antagonist at the start with literally bombing Igarappa. That was pretty crazy. And then she's revealed and is like, here, take the log post. And then Luffy just breaks it. Oh, it's such a real and raw moment. And Miss All Sunday being this ever mysterious person, like saving Luffy from the quicksand, her having this whole motivation of, you know, the poneglyphs. It's really fascinating. I love Robin, obviously, but her as an antagonist I felt worked really, really great as well. And her joining the crew at the end, forcefully, was really, really a cool twist, in my opinion. So I'm going to give her an A with Mr. 2, because genuinely I feel like without her, the Alabasta arc would be drastically different. It would be insanely different. Now, we have Monet. Monet I really liked a lot. I feel like with Punk Hazard, they had some really good villains, even though the location was, the factory location, was not as interesting as the cold and hot on the outside. I feel like the villains were actually pretty good. I really liked Monet and Virgo. So I'm going to do Virgo with her as well. I'm going to put them both in B. I really like Monet's fight with Zoro. It was very cool. And her fight with Tashigi, I thought it was pretty cool. So Monet and Virgo. Virgo obviously got a lot better as the story continued, because we saw he was really integral to Law's flashback, so Law defeating him at Punk Hazard feels all the more satisfying in the end. And Monet obviously is in the Doflamingo taking over Dressrosa flashback as well, so we get to see more of her. And it's also kind of fun that she's Sugar's sister, but actually her younger sister, so I thought that was pretty cool little reveal. I am genuinely shocked that Sugar is not on this list as well. There's already so many villains on this thing, but some of them that are not on here is just like, what? Sugar? Like, how? Alright. Montdour. My guy Montdour. So Montdour is one of my favorite characters from Whole Cake Island. I love his ability. I love that he's like an overseer of the island, trying to make sure that everything's okay for Big Mom. I think he's pretty great, and I think he definitely has a lot of potential if and when he returns to the story, because he was on the boat at Wano. So I definitely think he will be ranking in B. He's pretty cool. I like him a lot. Now Moria. Moria is a very hard, you know, sort of pill to swallow, I would say. At first, I did not care for him much at all, but the more I think about him, like, it's kind of like Hody Jones, where the more I think about him, the more interesting he becomes, but he's not that level. He's not A tier level. I just think he is like the ultimate, like, tragic circumstance character, obviously, because his whole crew was wiped by Kaido, which is a cool connection, obviously, and that's how he has oars. He took it from Wano, and a bunch of like Ryuma. He took Ryuma from Wano. I don't know. I think Moria's cool. I love his aesthetic. His powers are really cool. Aesthetic, not like the way he looks, but like his whole like gothic aesthetic of Thriller Bark. I don't know. His plan is rather interesting, but my favorite thing about Moria, without a doubt, was when he showed up on Blackbeard's island and was like, "Where's Absalom? Where's my crew?" Like, he is kind of like, he's kind of like Crocodile. It seems like after Luffy interacts with these people, he changes them for the better. You know what I mean? So Moria, he's like, I lost my crew to Kaido, and now that he has these people like Absalom, even though I don't care for Absalom, he has these people with him, and he still cares about them. He's not just like totally cold and heartless. So I don't know. I think Moria will definitely have more in the future, and I'm pretty intrigued to see where he goes. So I'm gonna put him in B actually. I never really expected Moria to be as compelling as I find him to be, but I don't know. I'm very curious to see how his story continues to play out, especially since Perona, who I'm just going to do right now, is also going to reconvene with him. You know, they're going to probably try and get the whole Thriller Bark squad back together. So Perona, I thought was pretty great as well. Her fight with Usopp is probably one of Usopp's best fights, but Usopp's fights are always really good in my opinion. So I'm going to put Perona in B as well, because I thought her ability was really, really cool. I thought it was cool that only Usopp could defeat her, and every other Straw Hat was like depressed, you know what I mean? But Perona's cool, and I love her relationship with Zoro and Mihawk. I thought that was really awesome. But yeah, that's Thriller Bark done. Amazing. Now we got Orochi. Orochi is a great antagonist. He's such a despicable monster. I'm putting him in A immediately. He's such a despicable monster. He absolutely just overruled all of Wano and turned it into this horrible, horrible place that he's only using to profit. However, I can understand why he did this, because his entire family was like purged out of Wano and hunted down. So him having this vengeful nature to him is really, you know, earned. It's kind of like he's a victim of circumstance, kind of like Hody Jones. But Hody Jones, you know, obviously it played out different. Orochi was not, well, he was influenced by the old lady with the thing on her head and the old man with Bon Clay and Bartolomeo's fruits. But obviously, you know, he had that vengeful, you know, thing inside of him. They just kind of released it and turned it into something a lot more menacing. So Orochi, he's a pretty great antagonist, I'm not gonna lie. Perospero, another really great antagonist. I actually really like Perospero now, especially after all the stuff in Wano, where he's like, he beats up Carrot and then is like, go munch on some grass. That was so savage. It was just so cool, and it was just like, man, Perospero I think has a lot of potential for the story continuing forward, because he wants to, you know, if say Big Mom does die, which they're literally talking about on the boat to Wano, he's like, I want to be in charge. I don't know. I think he's really cool. I think he's very manipulative as well. So I'm going to put him in A as well, actually. I think he is very, very ripe with potential for villainous acts. Next, we have Pika. Pika is, I don't care for Pika much at all. The voice is funny, but I feel like he's just a very nothing character. So I'm going to put Pika in C, right with Diamante. Now, Treble is by far the Doflamingo family, like, important member with the most. Obviously, he had to fight with Law and Luffy with Doflamingo. He inspired Doflamingo to turn into this absolute degenerate. He gave Doflamingo his fruit. He literally was like, you have potential. So I'm putting Treble in B tier. I think he definitely works the best as an antagonist in Doflamingo's crew, outside of Doflamingo, obviously. So I don't know. I just think he has a lot there that was really good. Next, to finish off Doflamingo's crew, we're just going to do the man, the myth, the legend, Senor Pink. Senor Pink is awesome. I love him. He's pretty cool. I'm putting him right next to Baby 5 because they are the peak of Doflamingo's crew. So, genuinely, man, the Senor Pink stuff, like, I know everyone talks about it, but, like, it's so good, though. Like, how can you not? How can you not talk about it? Like, this character was such a joke, and now he's just awesome. Like, I don't view him that great as an antagonist, but he's so compelling in, you know, that little moment he had. It's like his moment in the spotlight, he will never go away. He will never go away after this point. So yeah, absolutely great character. because Doflamingo is obviously captured. I don't really know what they're going to do with Senor Pink and the other members of the crew. Obviously, Baby 5 is with Sai, but I am curious what Senor Pink is up to. Next, we are going to do Pudding. Pudding is a really great antagonist as well. She's probably like one of the most compelling in Whole Cake Island for me. I absolutely, like, throughout the entire beginning section of the arc, I was like, she's got to be evil. She's got to be evil. And then I stopped believing she was evil because she was so nice for so long. And then the twist happened and I was like, oh my God, I knew it. I knew it. But then she stopped being evil too. It is like, she is so compelling. Pudding is a really great, compelling antagonist because she's so traumatized by Big Mom and the world that she's grown up in because of her third eye. And it's just so again, another victim of circumstance antagonist. And because of that, I love Pudding. She's going to be an A tier, right with Perisparrow. Very manipulative, awful people. But Pudding, she's not awful. She's really great. I love her. Next, we got Sengoku. Sengoku is a really, really cool antagonist, obviously. He was the fleet admiral of the Marines. He's the one that revealed to the world that Ace is Roger's son. He's a big deal, and big deal is very fitting because he turns to a massive Buddha and is this all-powerful Devil Fruit user. So, Sengoku, really threatening. He obviously has a lot of lore with Garp and, you know, the old era of the Marines. And it makes it feel like Sengoku is like equal to like Roger or an equal to like Whitebeard, because in the Odin flashback, Roger's like, oh, if you wanted me to take you seriously, send Garp or send Goku. So Sengoku, as the story's continued, has become, you know, much more of a real threat the more we think about it. And obviously Sengoku now, especially in Dressrosa, he's just chilling. You know, he's having a nice time. He's eating crackers with his little pet goat. But at the point he was introduced, I think he was definitely an A tier antagonist. He was pretty great. Now, Sentomaru, he's like, I don't know. Sentomaru's cool. He's cool. For me, I'm not really threatened by him. I'm threatened by the idea that he can just, he's in charge of the Pacifista, and he's just absolutely, like, it's hard. It's really hard. Sentomaru is a very difficult character to pin down because he has like nothing in the story, but his potential is so high because obviously Sentomaru was introduced with Kizaru and Kuma, you know, wiping everyone away, but he also brought the Pacifista, so it's just like he's so threatening, but it's not what he does, you know what I mean? It's just the role he has. So I'm gonna give him a B. Because obviously, anyone in that arc is B minimum. Because that arc is absolutely insane. But man, that is just very, very threatening character, without a doubt. Now, Shiki. So I know Shiki from the one chapter where it's like a flashback and it's like the Ed War. Shiki seems kind of cool, I'm not going to lie. I haven't seen this movie either. I probably should watch Film Gold and Strong World. I think it's Strong World that Shiki is in. But I do know a bit about Shiki, and if I were to place him somewhere, it would probably be like B. But the thing is, he's not really an antagonist in the chapter I read. It's more of a flashback, and he's in it. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of cool stuff he did. He escaped from Impel Down. That's pretty crazy. He actually like has like sword legs. I forget the exact reason why. I think he was like cuffed and he has sword legs to like uncuff himself, which is pretty cool. He was a Roger rival to Roger, which is obviously really threatening as well. I don't know. I just think he has potential. I'm excited to watch this movie. I'll do a little update, I guess, in the comments, and I'm like, when I watch the movie, I'll be like, by the way, I think his name is Guild Tesoro on the left, like where he'll be, where Shiki will be. So I'll do them later. Shiryu is a really threatening force in my opinion. He's by far the Blackbeard pirate I'm the most invested in because he's gonna fight Zoro. He also has the invisibility fruit, which is pretty cool because he stole it from Absalom after killing him, which is super sick. It's just like, oh my god. Obviously, he being a co-warden of Impel Down with Magellan, huge deal. Him giving Blackbeard the antidote, oh my god. him being like, I've been waiting for someone like you. I don't know. Shiryu is really threatening to me because he is so much, like, he probably knows a lot. And then him working with Blackbeard, it's just really, really compelling. And him just being this bloodthirsty, like, monster, it's really cool. I'm going to put him in A as well. I think he has a lot of potential for the story moving forward. Which is pretty crazy because he's the highest ranking Blackbeard, well, besides Blackbeard, he's the highest ranking one. That's wild. Smoker. I love Smoker. Smoker's a really great antagonist for me because all the way back in Town he was introduced, but he's kept popping up over and over and over again. He's the Marine that I think has the most potential by far. Besides Kobe, obviously. He's the Marine that has the most potential by far, in my opinion, and I'm very curious to see where he continues going in the story. I thought for a while, and I still hope, that he's going to come to Wano, Smoker. And I just think he has a lot of potential. So I'm going to put him in A as well, right under Shiryu. Now Tashigi, since I just did Smoker, I'll do Tashigi. I think she's pretty cool as well. I like her little rivalry with Zoro, and I like seeing her become a lot more of a present force and her actually getting higher and higher rank. I loved what she did at the end of Punk Hazard, trying to take all the kids that Caesar like tortured and drugged and try to help them find their way home. So that was a really great thing for her to do. I am curious. Oh, she's taking them to Vegapunk, which obviously has a lot of potential with Vegapunk stuff. So I think she's cool. I'm going to put her in B. I hope that we get more of her in the future because I like seeing the little progression we have with, you know, Smoker and Tashigi, because they're like our, well, not our full equivalent, because Kobe is like the equivalent to Luffy because they're both like new, but Smoker and Tashigi are kind of like the same, like they're on the same path. We see them keep going, and I like it a lot. Now Smoothie is like, I hate this, right? Smoothie is so hard to pin down because literally Smoothie is nothing. Smoothie is nothing but a design. And the thing is though, she's so threatening because we just know that she is a sweet commander. Like, this is a big deal character, but there's literally like nothing. There's nothing. The only thing I can say is that she got a giraffe and squeezed a giraffe, and that was crazy. I was like, what is this? So I'm putting her in C because like Smoothie is literally nothing, but somehow like she's gotta do something eventually, right? What I assumed what was gonna happen was Smoothie is on the boat to Wano as well, which is a pretty big deal. Obviously there's a sweet commander coming to Wano, but Smoothie's ability allows her to grow big. So I was thinking, okay, if the Big Mom Pirates can't get up a third time, Smoothie's just gonna grow big and then like throw the boat up there. I think that would be pretty cool. Or maybe like climb onto Onigashima. That'd be crazy. But Smoothie's cool. I'm gonna put her in like C. It's kind of sad. No, I'm not doing this. Like, we know nothing. That's the problem. We know nothing. But I like her more than these two because we don't know anything. Like, I don't know how to describe it. There's nothing, but the potential is so high. You know what I mean? All right. Next we have Van Augur. So this is Blackbeard's sniper. He's okay. I feel like out of the Blackbeard crew that was introduced in Jaya, he was the one I was the least interested in. Because he had Burgess, Doc Q. Yeah, he was the one I was the least interested in, without a doubt. So I'm going to put him in C. He's going to be at the bottom with Doc Q, though. Actually, I'll put Doc Q over Katarina, because I think he's just funny. And his, like, cryptic, weird nature to him. I think it's cool. Alright, next we got Vanderdecken. I do not like Vanderdecken. He is going in D tier. He's just not compelling to me at all. I don't like his, like, attachment to Shirahoshi as a child. It's pretty disgusting. I don't find him like threatening whatsoever. Hody Jones is more threatening than Vanderdecken, and that's only because Hody Jones isn't strong. It's what he represents. That's why he's more threatening. But at the time, they're not strong characters. These are not threats. But Vanderdecken, he always was like a joke. He was only intimidating once, and that's when the Flying Dutchman showed up on the way to Fishman Island, and that's it. He's just so gross. He's such a degenerate. Wapol. So Wapol is a really fascinating character for me because Wapol was such a joke, But as the story keeps going forward, I find him much better. Like, him at the Reverie, I think has so much potential. Like, what did he say? What did he leak to Big News Morgans? It generally has me so invested in what's going on with this character. So I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm putting him in B tier. It's very fascinating. I don't know how exactly, but Oda has really made Wapol like compelling to me. It's just like, this is crazy. This is really crazy stuff. And this last one, this is Z from Film Z, which is a movie I have seen. So I'll actually try and do this one some justice. I think the whole idea behind the character is that he was an admiral, but then he was like an old admiral, and then he was like, he essentially like tries to do like take out pirates because the Marines just aren't gonna do that. And I don't know how to describe it, I guess. Oh, because his whole crew was wiped out. I know that. So his first mates are like Marines that were on his crew that survived. But man, like, I don't know. I don't dislike the movies at all. Like I said, like, Bullet is here because I just think he's not good. Z is at least a character with a cool importance in the lore. I like his connection to a lot of the Marines, obviously, because he was a Marine. I think it's cool. I like how Aokiji is really important to the movie as well. Like, he's someone he idolized. So I'm gonna put him in like B. He's cool, you know what I mean? He's cool. I just don't find him as compelling because obviously he's a non-canon character. But you know, he's cool. I like him. So yeah, this is my list. We got a lot of so what I try to do on these lists normally is I try to make sure that S tier has like not a lot, because you know, if it's S tier, it's like above, you know what I mean? There's a lot of A though. One Piece, like I said, One Piece villains, they're pretty great. So a lot of A. B had the most, only with C having 2 less. And then, you know, G, we had to do G tier, of course. And then here's the D tier. Yeah, that's been this video. I'll send a little photo of this link in the comments. If you want to try out this tier list yourself, feel free. I would like to see what you think. And I would love to know what you think about my characters below. I know that Kuma being above these two is going to be like, people are going to be like, what? What's wrong with you? But I don't know. I find Kuma menacing. So, you know. I'm shocked Emu isn't on this list either. There's a lot of characters on here. I'm just like, really? You're not here? But whatever. What are you going to do? But yeah. Thanks. If you stuck around through this whole video, I actually, when I was earlier recording, I was like, oh, I'm just going to do a short little video. This is like an hour and a half. This is so long. But, you know, it's just a non-scripted, I don't have to edit that much sort of thing, because I got quite a bit of homework this weekend, so I got to make sure I can put out a video I really want to do. And this was a lot of fun. I actually really like doing this. I liked having this sort of thought process of like, oh wait, they're kind of cool though, like with Germa and all that stuff. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more tier list stuff in the future, like I said, I'm doing another one, should come out in a few days as well. Maybe it's on something else that's pretty cool, I don't know. But if you have any ideas on what you want me to talk about, One Piece or JoJo or anything like that, just let me know below. And with that, hope you enjoyed the video and have a good one.